Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Wave Podcast here at the Culture Wave Media Network, and we are here to discuss Season 5, Episode 6 of The Boys on Prime Video. I'm going to be one of your hosts. My name is Darian Scalamoni. I am joined this time by Sean Villa.
Hello.
And Mikey Peniston.
Hello.
My first time in a few weeks being back on. First time for you as well, Mikey.
Yes.
Good episode to come back on. I feel like things are starting to move in the right direction when it comes to this season, even though Sean and I were talking before we started recording, and it's like, we just waited all this time to start hitting us with all the important things in the last two episodes, and you can kind of basically almost forget the 4 episodes that came before that.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Do you feel similarly?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You said something that I'm going to quote you on. This was moments ago, ladies and gentlemen. You said that these 2 episodes that have just aired, these past 2, are better than the previous 4 combined. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because, yes, we are kind of like rushing into these big plot points. But, like, yeah, man, fuck it, we're there. Okay, shit's happening. Like, it's way more interesting than when nothing is happening.
Yeah.
Which is what the, like, prior 4 were, or the opening 4. So, I mean, I'm enjoying this. I think this episode, possibly my favorite of the season so far, which isn't the highest bar to surpass.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Mikey, what about you? What did you think about episode 6? Broad thoughts.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. I feel like I agree in the sense that it's probably the best of the season so far. I will say that I think an episode like this makes me appreciate the first 4 a little bit more, which is something I didn't think I would say, just because they were really bad at first. but I can kind of see the setup as to where they were kind of going with it. It took a while, and I think that there was a lot of filler in the midst of those episodes. But where we're at currently, I'm very happy. I think that I wasn't on the last episode, so to last episodes, I wasn't the biggest fan. I felt like it was another kind of like cop out as far as spreading unnecessary time on stuff that isn't needed. And I did like the appearances that we got, but it wasn't too far.
So talking about the celebrity cameos?
Yes, the celebrity cameos. Yes, I enjoyed it, but it was. I was also like, why do we need this?
Right.
Yeah. You know. Also, Seth Rogen is unnecessarily in everything. I'm starting to realize if he's not producing it, he's in everything.
He does produce this show though.
Yes.
So it's easier to get him for this, but I do tend to agree, and I think it's why I'm kind of softening on Seth a lot.
Yeah,
but
he's like,
anyway, that's another conversation.
It's like Pedro. It's like probably a good dude. It's just like, man, I do not want to see you every time I turn on my television.
Every month you're going to see him in something different.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But.
It is crazy, but not the point of this conversation. That episode I felt was a cop out. So I do think that it was nice to see this episode kind of just jump right into everything, and especially the ending, just to see where we're at, knowing that there's only 2 episodes left. So
yeah, this is the second highest rated episode on IMDb for the season, by the way.
Oh, of the season. I thought you were going to say of the show.
No, of the season. Like, the episode before that actually is the second lowest rated out of the 6.
Of
of this season,
like the
one with Firecracker.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I thought that was better than a lot of the episodes that came before it. But when we jump into this episode, we're reintroduced to Paul Reiser's The Legend, who I liked his intro the season. I think it was season 3 with the hero-gasm and all that stuff. And I just think he's a joy. Like, Paul Reiser is always really fun. And in this world, he fits in. But he's working at Vault Cinemas. And he's kind of the key to a lot of this stuff that happens in this episode, because he is the one who's able to get the contact with Bombsight, who this is the first time we're seeing Bombsight.
Yeah.
Correct? We didn't see Bombsight in any past episodes or any flashbacks or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for spin-offs, but yeah, in terms of
he's gonna be in a spin-off, apparently, in Vault Rising, the show that they're now kind of throwing in our face, which we also talked about before we started recording. But he's the key to all this. He has the vial of V1 that Homelander and Soldier Boy are trying to get, as well as the boys. And so Mother's Milk meets up with him at first, and the whole thing surrounding him in this episode, we get some fun boys moments that I feel like we've been missing in the season. Like, I thought the senior center fight was very, like, early boys coded, and it worked really well for me.
Yeah.
But that whole plot line of, again, now we're finally getting to a place where we have, by the end of the episode, that Homelander gets the V. And I don't want to speed run through the episode, but I do want to talk about, obviously, the big moment finally happening, because we know we have 2 episodes left, but at this point now, Homelander has completely injected himself with the V1, meaning like how in the hell are they going to be able to defeat him? Now, my only gripe in terms of the last couple episodes, in comparison to those first 4 where you were talking about the setup, Mikey, is that Ryan is nowhere to be found. Yeah. And it's like, how did we completely forget about the whole reason why Homelander and Butcher have been kind of fighting for 5 seasons in general? I still think he's going to probably play a major factor in the last 2 episodes, but Sean, for you, thoughts on him kind of disappearing, and also where we end up at the end of this episode? Like, where do you think we can go from now where we're at with Homelander? Because we talked before we started recording, you're like, there's only one of 2 ways they could really probably go with this. Yeah,
I mean, Ryan is so interesting to me because I think he's super important from like a writing perspective. Like as someone who's tried to like outline and had to create like structures for a screenplay before, in my head it's like Ryan is like a little piece that you lay in like the act 1 of the story that like has to pay off in act 3. The problem is that Ryan as a character is not that interesting to me. So like him not being in the show, I'm not like, oh man, I really miss Ryan. Like I don't really care when Ryan's on screen. It's just that for plot purposes, wide reaching, he's really important.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like this weird oxymoron where I feel like it's a betrayal if we don't get him, but when we get him, I'm like, all right, fucking here's Ryan again. So it's very conflicting for me.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like really flip of a coin on it. The way I see it going is probably we're gonna do a big team up. That's kind of how I see this going. I really the other way that I think it goes is that Homelander wins, which I think is just a bad idea. It is kind of like the subversion ending, right? Of like, oh, everyone who opens Amazon Prime on Wednesday is gonna freak out because they didn't see this coming, and it's just like kind of undermines what the show stands for, in my opinion. That like the little man can fight against this huge corporation and actually make a difference. So if the ending message is actually no, you can't, very Amazon, like I don't really care for it, but. The only other way I see this proceeding is that they defeat Homelander, and the way that I see that going is that we probably have Ryan jump into the fray, Butcher, Starlight, we bring in the Gen V people from the spinoff, and it's this big final battle. Confrontation's probably going to be like Homelander Soldier Boy versus the entire rest of the cast. Maybe you throw in some X factors in there of like what's Sage going to be doing, the Deep, Soldier Boy, like those people could kind of go either way. Maybe they die before we get there. I just kind of think that's where we're headed. And as much as I could say that that's kind of like predictable, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, do you think we're going to get that for 2 whole episodes? Or do you think like...
No, the next episode's probably going to be Homelander walking around in the offices of the Vought building saying that he's a god like he's been doing for the past couple seasons. And then, Huey and Starlight are going to lay on the hood of their car and she's going to tell him, oh, you have to be ready for when I die. And he's going to go, no, I love you. I have to protect you. And then, we're probably just going to do a bunch of filler stuff, and then it'll probably end with one of the other side characters dying. And then the last episode will be like, everything all at once, all at the same time. And then, then the show will be over.
Yeah. Mikey, what about you? Where are you anticipating the way that they handle these final 2 episodes now that we know that Homelander has injected the V1?
Oh man, I have a couple of theories of where it could go. I do think that I feel like to the point now that we're also in this episode, as much as I feel like this is like one of the better episodes, I'm also not fully happy with this episode, if I'm gonna be honest. I feel like they kind of rushed a lot because we're at the stage now where they have to cram a lot and fit it all in, and it's very prevalent. I've been seeing a lot of love for what's his name, the new superhero, not Soldier Boy, but his arch enemy,
Bombsight.
Bombsight. I've been seeing a lot of love for Bombsight, but I'm gonna be real. Like I saw him for 5 minutes. Like it wasn't. I didn't get that feel. And I'm saying this just because I feel like that's what the next 2 episodes are gonna be like. Exactly that same feel where it's like they're just gonna rush everything. So I do think that as far as the next episode, now that he's injected the V, I do think that it's going to get a little bit more ballistic. I think there was a scene in like the trailer, like one of the promos for something for this season where you could see Homelander in the Oval Office. So I think that's probably going to happen. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's also a comic thing too.
Yeah.
And so I feel like now that he's had it, it's definitely gonna go that way. But they could also kind of trick us. I feel like Soldier Boy's his motives right now aren't fully clear. If I'm gonna be honest, and so I feel like he could have very well have tricked Homelander, or there's a chance that maybe he didn't take V1. I don't think that the writers would go that way. I think that because there's 2 episodes and we got to see it get ballistic at some point, he definitely took it. And so I think that, to be honest, if this is the case, and Homelander is really immortal, I don't think it will be something where he'll what we've been seeing. I do think that my hopes is what I should say. My hopes is that we will see him right away kill everybody. I to the point of Ryan too, because you brought him up. I also am very pissed off with what they've done with his character. I do think that he'll randomly come in, but I do think that it could be something where like Stan and Ed Europe ends up bringing them all in like some sort of like Young Avengers sort of thing, and here are the Gen V characters all of a sudden. And I could see it definitely being something like that. I don't see it having any sort of it helping the situation, if I'm to be honest, at this stage. And I do think it's going to build towards some sort of endgame type like battle between Homelander and everything. But if I'm to be honest, I think that I don't know what I think. I'm gonna let you guys talk.
You brought up a lot of interesting things that I kind of want to touch on, but I think the one that I'll go with first is about Bombsight. The character in itself, I'm like interested to see what they do with Paul Reiser with him. I don't have an attachment to him, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate this show doing a side plot that's actually like kind of sweet.
Okay.
Like Bombsight and
Golden Geisha.
That plot, if you like told me that was going to be what the episode was centered around, I'd be like, what's the catch? Like, does he have V in his ass and they got to dig it out or something? Like, what's the stupid like boysism that they're going to fucking do in this episode? No, like he legitimately just like wants to be with this woman that he loves, and she wants to experience the beauty of like growing old and naturally passing away, and there's like this tragedy there, and it's like actually like compelling. Like it was the first time in the whole season that there's been like a superhero side plot that actually feels like, wow, there's like heart in this. Like, what the hell? This actually has like a emotional core to it that isn't like, mole guy shits out of his ass and digs, like, it's not something dumb like that. So I appreciated that a lot. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that this show, it's the same thing with Ryan. It's very, very prevalent with Noir and with, I just had it, Sage. They kind of do this thing where they write characters where it's like, the plot needs you here, so you're going to be here now, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, Sage, what the hell was the point of this character?
Yeah. It's come to a point now where it's like the whole plan was to turn on Homelander, but she was so smart the whole way that she navigated this for 3 seasons, and now she's like, well, that's not the way it was supposed to go.
That's the problem with the
fucking crazy.
The first 4 episodes of this season is that there are so many people that are still alive that just should be dead already.
Yeah.
Like they just shouldn't be in the show, because now we're rushing and now we're getting stupid shit like the Black Noir death, which I really don't like. I don't care. Like I don't get it. I don't understand like why it happened.
I have something to say that at some point, but I want you to finish.
Okay, I don't know like why we killed this character, why we brought him into the story in the first place. He doesn't do anything. The whole story, he's not relevant at all. He has like a little arc. We're building to something, and then the Deep kills him. And like, okay, the Noir dies suddenly, and it's kind of tragic before his character could really flourish. It's like, yeah, we did that with the other Noir.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even creative enough to like find some new way to like, subvert what this guy is. Like, I don't know what his character's point was. Sage is supposed to be like this third party X factor, and it feels like her entire character, 2 seasons of build up for this character was just to bring her to this point where it's like, oh, he actually foiled the genius in the end, and she was wrong about this one thing, and that's what propels the rest of the finale, right? It's like, really? Like that was it? She wants to recatch her in the rye and like,
eat burrito crunch wraps.
Yeah, and eat burrito crunch wraps, and then like she got foiled that Soldier Boy goes through a character assassination and suddenly loves Homelander, even though the entire rest of the season is about how they really can't stand each other. And like Ashley read his mind.
Yeah.
Like in this episode, she reads Soldier Boy's mind and she's like, wow, he really loves Homelander. And Sage is like, no, this is impossible.
Well, I do think the weird thing with that is that I do think that it's like we're actually seeing Soldier Boy in real time change his mind. Because I think that when he is in the office, he's like, I fucking hate my spineless son. I want him to die. I think he sucks. And then he kind of grows that appreciation for him being through Clara, which, by the way, again, my mistake. Stormfront Clara, is she still alive? No, she's dead.
Probably not.
Right?
Who knows? Maybe she shows up. We could use another character in this finale.
Well, yeah, clearly. but I do think that obviously she's now at the center of all of this, and at least the conflict or the reason, obviously, why Soldier Boy is doing what he's doing for Homelander.
And it makes no sense.
It's also her, like Clara's his mother.
Do you remember how Soldier Boy comes into the show in season 3?
He's frozen, correct?
He's frozen. He gets out of the Russian lab. The first time that most of the boys meet Soldier Boy, like formally, is when he goes to kill Crimson something.
Yeah.
Crimson Countess.
Yeah.
There's this lady from his past. He goes to kill her. And when he goes into the room to kill her, he says, like, every day I thought about you, like, I loved you. And it's like such a betrayal. And then she says, like, well, I never loved you. And it's like this heartbreaking moment. And then he blows her up. So it's like, what do you mean you always loved that's not what you... You know what I mean? Like, they retconned it.
Yeah.
I feel crazy
Probably
sometimes when I'm watching
they're
this
starting
show.
the VCU.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just feel like they're putting characters, they're changing their mind. They have like this little screenwriter thought bug where they come in and they go, actually, the character thinks this now. And they're expecting me to not be like, well, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. But I am, dude. Like, I'm catching all these little things where it's like, I don't think Sage would do that. Soldier Boy, I don't buy this arc, et cetera, et cetera. And it's really frustrating because I think like the general beats of what's happening in the A plot are really entertaining. Like, I want to see where this is going. I'm really excited for this like big Homelander fight and to see like, you know, how all this is going to wrap up. I talked with Vinny last week about how I think it's a great thing that I don't really know like who's going to die, who's not. I think that's really exciting. Like, that makes for like good TV. It's just that there's so many inconsistencies and like dumb shit. And I think part of that, especially with Sage, is that it's really difficult to insert a character that's supposed to be like a hyper genius when, like, respectfully, you're not a hyper genius.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you just like it feels very like I don't know. I'm just kind of at like a loss for words with it. It's just very like overall kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I think the central plot writing has just gone like down the tubes in the last few seasons. Like, they've wanted to focus more on trying to heighten the world that is the boys versus focusing on a streamlined story that people actually care about with the characters. Because at least, again, I'm speaking for myself. I'm at this point now where, like, yes, it's exciting and unpredictable to not know who may die or who may live, but I almost don't care because I don't care about a majority of the characters at this point because of the way they've written them. Like, over the last few seasons.
Well, like, the internet fan theory right now is that the next episode's called, like, the French, the milk, and the something.
Yeah, it's called The Frenchman, the female, and the man called Mother's Milk.
Right, okay. So now, like, the obvious theory there is that, like, those three, toast. They're dead. You know, and it's like, okay. You know, like, I feel like I should be like, oh, no. Oh, no.
Frenchie Kimiko and Mother's Milk.
Mother's Milk, they're going to die. Oh, my, guys. Guys, they're going to die. I have no feeling whatsoever.
Yeah.
If that happens, maybe Mother's Milk and Kimiko, I'd be like a little Frenchie should have been dead 3 seasons ago, respectfully. You know, nothing against the guy, but I don't care. Like, they've had nothing to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem. Mother's Milk, I love that character, but I love that character in 3 seasons. These last 2 seasons, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
Like, he's just kind of there. He's like,
and they got rid of his family, which was like the whole part of like what he was fighting for. And now they're just like, you're kind of like Butcher now. And he's like, "Arr."
He's like, yeah, I am kind of like Butcher, actually. And I brought this up a couple times, and I kind of hate to say it, but it reminds me of Stranger Things, about how I felt a lot of the bloated cast of Stranger Things, where it's like we're riding this high of, right, this character used to be so great, so I'm like attached to them, but like not anymore. Like, they don't need to be here. And I think, like, there is a certain strength needed in the writer's room to just be like, all right, we understand that this character is beloved and, you know, like, people, it helps maintain the status quo. But, like, there's this fear to change that it seems like they have, which is a common problem that we're seeing in TV, or at least that I'm seeing a lot when we're having these discussions, is this ineptitude or this real fear that they don't want to move away from the status quo. We want to stay. Everything's normal. It's just like season 1. It's not like season 1 anymore. You're in the last season. Change some shit up. And like now it's too late, man. You know, we had 8 episodes, 8 hours of TV. So much could happen. It's like we're gonna do all of it in the last 3. That's just frustrating.
Yeah, I get it. Amen, brother. Michael, Noir, I know was one of the things you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And then if you have any comments based on just kind of the way things have been going for this season.
That was a lot. I also feel like he was preaching. Yeah, I will say the whole noir thing just because I've seen theories. Dang, I need to wait a second. You said a lot. I need to take a step back just because.
I was hitting you with the Allfather rant. Fucking blasting shit at you. My bad.
No, because everything you said was valid. All right, let me start with Noir. I feel like I've seen online that there's a apparent theory that they killed him off the way he did because the Deep might have to now go to Stan Edgar, apparently, and with this to cover it up, so that Homelander doesn't see. But clearly at this point, Homelander's busy with other things. So I don't see how this being too valid. But I saw the theory that they have already on file a clone version of Homelander, and that
gonna do the comic twist, you think?
Yeah, and they throw him in the noir suit.
Boo.
And that's how that happens. And so I pray that doesn't happen. But that's all I was going to say to that point. Other than that, I'm very also mad how it happened. It was also kind of building up. I feel like between the two of them, you knew that one of them was going to kill the other one at some point. It was also, but it was just like in a podcast studio. It's like if I kill you right now. Yeah.
You kill me here. Yeah, I have a bad take. You come over and just knife me. No, I was talking to Scal before we started recording. That again, it just seems like they kind of forgot a lot of the stuff that happened prior in the show.
Yeah.
But like season 4, do you remember the Deep and Noir attack them in their like New York office?
Where they're like hiding out and doing everything, the boys.
Yeah, like their season 4 hideout up in that tower.
Yeah, I do,
so they come and attack them. In that scene, Butcher has like a minigun, and it's just like or like a shotgun or something. He's like actively shooting at this guy, and he's like tanking it. And the only reason that they survived that fight is because Noir is a narcoleptic, which is another plot point they kind of forgot about.
Yeah.
So it's like that guy gets knifed by the Deep and dies. You know, it's like, then what was the point? Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm coming off like such a negative Nancy, dude.
No.
It's hot in here, so I'm like sweating, yelling. I'm like, fucking, I look like a giant geek, dude.
Well, there again, I guess it's not as related to the central plot, but there are some fun things that happen in this episode. Like, I already brought up the senior fight, but I thought all the stuff with the Deep in this episode is great. All the mocking of the AMC theaters, I thought it was fun, tongue-in-cheek type of stuff. The whole pipeline thing with the Deep, I just think is hilarious. Like him advocating for oil in the pipeline, or for the pipeline for the fish.
I saw an Instagram reel that was talking about how like they make a comment that the oil pipe disaster is worse than what is it? Event Horizon? No, Deepwater Horizon.
Deepwater Horizon, the movie. Yeah.
No, there was like a real disaster that they called.
Oh, is that what they called it? Because there's a movie based on it too.
Yeah, I don't remember what the hell that term is. Whatever. It was some like horrible like oil spill disaster, and it was like even worse than that, like 1.5 billion fish. And then the Instagram reel was talking about how, like, if that's true, this is, like, the worst ecologic disaster of all time. And Noir has probably, like, killed more people than Homelander in this single action. So he, like, deserved it, which I thought was kind of funny.
It is funny. The Deep is your favorite character throughout all these seasons?
No, Homelander's my favorite character
because
he's a very well-written character most of the time. But the Deep is my favorite comedic relief. He's, like, a fun joke character.
Yeah.
You know, like, do I think the Deep is deep, you know, like as a guy, like am I like, wow, what a compelling character? No, but the performance is great. I find him very funny. It's super boyish. Like it's one of the only parts of this show's humor that like consistently works for me.
It's worked, for 5
just like dumb
seasons.
frat guy idiot, you know, like I just really like it.
Yeah.
So
Now where he's at though, again, he wants to please Homelander. He obviously, and he doesn't want to die. We know that. Now he's caused this big issue, but even the whole governmental kind of hierarchy now is kind of falling apart. I mean, Sister Sage was running Vought basically for the last however many seasons. Ashley is in PR control. Father is he has a good scene with Starlight, I feel like, talking about their past and kind of how he's aligning with Homelander, kind of giving up his faith.
I mean, Daveed Diggs is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of the way that the hierarchy is collapsing too, like how do you think that they handle the vault of it all in the next 2 episodes? Because all that inside stuff is now just falling apart. And I know you have brought up the Oval Office with Homelander potentially being there. So do you have any thoughts on how they can kind of, whether they all now start to also help out the boys because they realize Homelander is too powerful of an entity? Like, where do you think they go with the way that the government is going to be handling him basically now becoming like a messiah?
I personally, I don't think that that's like even like a thought and like to be thinking. Not like it, like I don't think that like now that he's taken this, if he does take it, it successfully turns him into what we've been like fearing or what they've been hyping him up to be. Then I do think with that will come just like complete and utter dominance and control from Homelander. So I don't even think that, like, I think that if you see any version of the government or vault try to do anything, it will just be like, whoever you are, I'm killing you on sight. Like, I don't even care.
Kind of how they did it a couple seasons ago with just killing every human.
Yeah, like there was a scene, I always go back to it because I think in my head it's one of the most, it's one of the realest scenes I've seen of him and like a moment. It was when there was like a press thing going on and everyone in the crowd was like kind of like booing Homelander, and you saw like what he envisioned wanting to do, and he like laser everyone. And I always go back to that because I was like, dang, like that was such a real moment. Like we don't see stuff, like, even if it's just like in his head, like you don't see stuff like that too much. I what's it called? Oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I want to see some like Omni-Man level shit from Homelander in these last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, it's just another like promise that the show has kind of been, you know, guiding me along, carrot on the stick to, is, you know, like he's envisioning that he wants to like murder these whole crowds of people. He's a violent psycho, but like everything he does is kind of in secret. So it's like, now can we actually like let him go nuts?
Yeah.
You know, like I would love to see it. Like I'm not saying it's like high art to have him, you know, like start like flying through a crowd, but like I just feel like that's been established from the get-go as like something that we will eventually see, that he's gonna go buck wild, and you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think it's so interesting that he lets the legend go in that scene, because he gives him that first real moment. I guess I don't know if admiration is the right word, but kind of trying to make him feel human.
Yeah.
In some way, and being like, you know, like you're the reason we're here. You're the reason these. He's like basically says like he has respect for him, the fact that he's still on his mission, whatever you could believe his mission is, and the fact that Homelander like lets him go and doesn't just laser him out the door, I feel like is this kind of string that is interesting that we haven't seen before.
I think that's a great scene. I neglected to say it before. I love the Legends character. I think he's a great actor, really compelling character to me, of someone who's like almost like a talent manager for superheroes. I really like that idea. I haven't seen that too much. It's usually like the you know, the Nick Fury, Cecil Stedmans of the world that are kind of in media, and I like this kind of like agent character. That scene reminds me a lot of like the characterization that they did for him in the earlier seasons, where it's like actually there's something deeper going on. It's, to me, felt like this last kind of notion that had this guy actually had a father figure who understood him and cared, maybe he wouldn't be this psycho.
Yeah.
And it was just like one last reminder that like there is somewhere under this guy like an actual human being. And I really like that. I think that's a really great note. And now I don't want to see it anymore with Homelander. I think that's like a perfect way to kind of cap that off as like, yep, too far gone. This is his last good deed. He's going to let this guy go, and now he's going to become this godly figure. Like, I think that's great. That's a good setup.
Do you think we still see the whole setup of what Huey and Starlight do in this episode, trying to kind of because I don't know if he winds up doing like the telecast now because of what's happening, and like then where do you leave father, like what's gonna happen with Daveed Diggs' character, like that? There's a couple of plot threads, because again they're obviously not there. Huey and Starlight are not, correct me if I'm wrong, they're not there for that whole sequence.
No.
So they're not even aware of what's happened.
No.
At this point.
Don't think so. Yeah, I mean, just kind of goes back to the same concern of there's too many people. There's too many characters.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have 2 hours of TV left. You got to kill at least like 10.
Finale's going to be longer, I feel like. I feel like the finale's going to be close to 2 hours.
No, it's not. It's an hour and 3 minutes.
Okay,
Dude,
yeah,
you knew
I'm
that
seeing.
off the dome.
Yeah.
He's been
Holy shit.
deep in research. Hour 5 is what I see on IMDb. Next one's an hour 6, so a little
Okay.
bit more than 2 hours, but not
That's
much.
3 extra minutes, Mikey.
I'm sorry, my
One more scene.
No, I'm saying we get instead of 2 hours, we get 2 hours and 15 minutes for the final 2 episodes. But yeah, I mean, like they have a lot that they have to kind of work.
Try and
through, I feel like,
effectively wrap up a 30-person cast in 2.5 hours.
so
They're
tough,
gonna
man.
they're gonna end up killing, I think, most of these people off. I think
In the next episode, you think?
in the next episode, I think we're gonna see a lot of people die.
Mass death.
I think Homelander for sure. This is what I was gonna go into before when I said I lost my train of thought. I feel like with the V1, there are sides to it because clearly we know that there's successful cases like Soldier Boy, but there's also very unsuccessful cases. And I think that Homelander having Soldier Boy's blood, he'll be successful, but I do think that will amp up. We've seen what that can do, like physically, it can increase physical strength, but also the mental what it can do. And he's already jacked up in the head, so I do think that without a doubt, like Homelander will be killing majority of this cast in the next episode. I do think so. I do think there's even the chance, something we haven't even talked about yet. There is a chance. No, we kind of have because you said it's typical Amazon. There is a chance that this show will end with him just straight up winning and like he just kills everyone. And I don't know if they would go that far. I read a comment somewhere where it was like it's never really been like you don't see it a lot, so like they could just for the sake of that try and do that
like,
with
is
the
that
show.
enough of a reason to do something? It's just that like you don't expect it.
I don't want it to be.
Yeah, like I don't
but
like it.
I agree.
I just feel like it goes against what the show kind of was enticing about for me in the beginning. I mean, it was enticing for a lot of reasons, but I think like the underlying theme of like there is a incomprehensible threat to the public of like these people that are secret evils, and it seems fruitless to try to fight against them, but there's this really tiny group of crazy people that are like taking the action, trying to fight the good fight, and like actually getting somewhere. I think for the ultimate message of the show to be like, well, didn't work out, is kind of just like whether or not you agree with like the parallels or not, just feels very like pointless to me. It's just like a little smack in the face that like I don't think we need.
Yeah, 100%. Also, to the point as far as the Starlight Huey thing, were they still left in as far as we saw, they're still in the vault building, correct?
Well, they're in the church. I don't know if the Church of the Democratic America.
Democratic Church of America.
Yeah. I don't know if that's in the vault building.
I
But
assumed
that's
it
where
was,
that's where we, as the audience, last saw them in this episode.
Okay.
And then we get like another like 15 minutes and we don't see them at all.
Yeah.
Got you.
So-
Yeah, I assumed it was in the vault building for whatever reason. To your point, as far as them not being attached to this all, and having to at some point figure out what's happening, I do think that with Homelander now taking it, that if knowing them and how this last episode was, if he's successful with it, he's gonna like get up from where he was and immediately fly off and go do some shit.
Yeah.
And so I do think that it will become like almost like they probably won't know immediately, but I think that there will be some signal, even if it was the lasers in this, like going up into space. There will be something that I think will signify that there's
Shit's
something
about to go down.
Yeah, and I think that could even openly start something wherever they're at. Like technically, Oh Father is still where they're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I still think that there is still room for something to happen. They probably won't do that. They'll probably just be like, "Oh no, he took it. Now we got to go meet up with him." It probably will just fall in that boat. But I just wanted to kind of also answer your question.
Yeah, I mean, well, Starlight also has to be the one to contact Marie, I think, because they're the ones that have been talking, and Stan is now in custody of Vought, but Homelander's not there. I wonder if Homelander goes and I still think there's an interesting thing with him and Stan too. Like there's still something with that element of it that's like I don't know if he goes and talks to him and that might be the first significant death we see, where Stan's like I never intended for things to get this way, something along the lines of that. I don't know. Like Stan Edgar and Homelander having such a history, I feel like that is the closest thing to a father figure in some way, shape, or form. At least that provided structure for Homelander before Soldier Boy kind of came into the picture.
There's a really good scene in the comic. It's like one of the only ones I'm aware of towards the end, where Homelander He doesn't. There's no like V1 or any of that shit in the comics.
Yeah.
But he essentially like pulls up on Stan after he's like gonna go rogue. He's gonna take over the White House and like do this whole thing that he's doing in the comics. And the Stan's character is like a little different in the comics. I think he's got like a different name. It's like some lore reworks or whatever. But he pulls up to him as like a final thing of approval. Like he just wants him to be like afraid or tell him like good job, essentially is what he's like baiting for. And he just won't give it to him. And then Homelander leaves and doesn't kill him. And it's like this moment of like, oh, he's looking for approval, that the show basically built TV Homelander's entire personality around.
Yeah.
But we've had those scenes already. Like I feel like when
we had it with Legend in this.
We had it with Legend in this episode, which I thought was impactful, and then we also had it with Stan in like season 2 or 3 when he gets ousted from Vought, and he's like, you're nothing to me. Like you're just some like loser who does nothing with his powers. I think they do that like last episode too.
Yeah.
Where he like comes in the room and he's just like, and anyone with your powers would be like a baby like you are.
Yeah.
Anyone could do it. So I think those moments are kind of like done with. I don't really know what they could pull with Stan and Homelander that hasn't already been done. Other than Homelander killing Stan as like a final, like, I am God, I don't need this anymore. Like, okay. You know, but
leaving that world behind, leaving Vought behind, essentially.
Yeah, like the Stan Edgar stuff, I feel like is kind of just over with. I feel that way about a lot of the side characters at this point, where I'm like, all right, yeah, like the plot's pretty much wraps, so like you're probably also wraps guy. You know?
Well, I mean, like I think the last thing that really we need to kind of see is what happens with the Gen V characters if they even come in. A lot of people are speculating that Marie is going to have a huge part to do with whether it's the final 2 episodes or defeating Homelander in general. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But do you have any speculation, Mikey, on that? I know Sean hasn't watched the show, so
I do have a little bit of speculation. I'm trying not to speculate that they jib us because that could happen, but I speculate that I agree. I think Marie will have more of the bigger role in it. I think they'll all appear in some sort of grand fight. I think maybe they could appear in the next episode and have just like smaller talking roles as far as like the plan for a last episode if it reaches that sort of thing. But I do see them being involved. I can see Marie having as far of a important role in the fact that this is something I haven't seen anyone else talk about, and I don't even know if it's possible. But technically, she can like control like bloodstreams and everything. And if he injected the V1 into his blood, like, you know what I'm saying?
Sean said that before we started recording.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was the off the. No one's gonna believe me because it's not on the pod. We had the same thought.
It's okay, all right. But yeah, she very well could just remove it from his bloodstream or something. You know, she could probably do something in that regard. I remember Sean earlier in an earlier episode brought up the theory of like the show ending with Homelander getting depowered and how like perfect that would be.
Yep.
And I like. In my head, I still envision that being so perfect. And so, like, maybe, like, now we know that you could also get rid of V1 as Soldier Boy did to Homelander. Bombsight. Then, what's it called? I think that there is still a potential way to do it. And I tend to see that being the way to bring Marie in and have her have still, like, an important role because they built that up with Gen V. If it isn't that, then I do think that 100% that was a waste. Gen V was for sure a waste.
They canceled the show mid this season. They canceled Gen V going forward. They said there'll still be more stories with these characters, but not going to be within that show. Yeah. But I agree. I think your speculation early on when we started doing these reviews for this season, I do think that would be the perfect way to end it. I think getting to see a Homelander that has like going from again believing that he is God to being
just a dude,
even as everybody else on the playing
liked Vinny's
field.
Prediction that he ends up working in an Amazon warehouse.
That'd be hilarious.
That was a really good prediction.
Yeah.
Shout out Vinny.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. These last 2 episodes, I kind of feel like are like a guy on a motorcycle just went off a ramp and they're midair. And it's like, well, something interesting is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like either he fucking dies and splats or he like nails this, you know? Either way, I'm going to be like, whoa. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we've made it. We've been here week to week kind of waiting and seeing what was happening. But yes, go ahead.
This was one of the questions I had for both of you guys. I feel like one of the major plot points, everyone kind of has always been like pitted with another person. Like this all started with Huey and A-Train. They resolved that at one point. There's always been some personal drama. I feel like for the longest time, the plot point of Butcher and Becca and Homelander was a big thing, and you kind of brought up before Ryan being in the attachment to
Right.
that as well. Do you guys think that that plot is at all even a thing anymore? Is like that even like Butcher's like motive at this point? And if so, do you guys think that this is then gonna end with him and Butcher because everyone else kind of had their resolution moment?
I think whether or not it's the way that one of the characters die, it's a total robbery if they don't have a battle.
Right?
A total robbery. Like they literally like opened season 3 with that promise of like it's just gonna be me and you and everything. It's like, dude, if that never happens, really lame.
That's
really lame.
Because everything that I've been hearing as far as what could happen has kind of been involving like what we were saying, like
A multitude of people.
You know, like, and are we ever gonna just get like that standoff that they've been kind of building towards at this point? It doesn't even seem like, I mean, like very well we can get it, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like we've devolved so far from certain plot points that it is that one of them. Knowing that that was one of like the biggest motives to why that like
I
he
would
wanted
love to see. This is not going to happen, but I would love to see Butcher could have a really compelling arc if they actually seem to have some kind of chance to take him down. Like, let's say they assemble all these Avengers or whatever, and they're going to go out there and they're going to fight him. They think they've really got him. I would love if Butcher actively betrays his team so that he gets the chance to do it and fucks up and dies. I think that would be great.
I'd love to see that at the end of the next episode.
Yeah.
No Butcher for the finale, though. It would hurt. I think it would raise the stakes dramatically for the.
Yeah, I
finale.
mean, I think as we've gotten closer and closer to the end, the idea that I kind of had that Butcher was the final villain of the show feels less and less likely to me. Just because of where we are currently in the story, and I'm hoping that they actually take some time to not rush this like Homelander ballistic episode. It could just be next episode. I mean, Homelander could die at the end of next week for sure. Total possibility.
And we get like an epilogue.
Yeah, and then Butcher's like the final bad guy, like he is in the comic book. I just think that Butcher's arc would be so much more interesting if he died as, you know, someone going after revenge. That revenge is never worth it. Classic theme, you know, it's not new. But like for him specifically, and just like this evil route that he's taking, all these bad decisions that he's been taking, I just think like that's kind of the perfect way to put a little bow on it.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. I mean, yeah, I do think that they're gonna have to have some sort of confrontation, whether that comes next week or the week after. I'm not too sure exactly how they handle it, but yeah, I feel like as an audience we'd be robbed if we don't get to see that happen, because that's what everyone's been anticipating for years now.
Yeah.
So we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think you as a showrunner ever want to subvert your way out of satisfaction. You know? Like, okay, I didn't expect that, but also I wanted that. So,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
You told me you were going to take me for ice cream. I didn't know you were going to get donuts, but I didn't want donuts. I wanted ice cream. You know?
Is there anything else that we haven't? I feel like we covered pretty much everything in this episode. Anything else, Sean?
Well, I did start with Vinny last week. I would love to keep it consistent. Just briefly, death predictions.
For next week's episode.
Yeah, we could go next week.
I'm gonna say Frenchie and Kimiko die. And I think Ashley's gonna die.
Great guess.
Yeah.
I actually can
Those are my
totally
three.
see Ashley
Yeah.
dying next
Yeah,
episode.
Ashley
Yeah, I mean, I might 1-for-1 agree with you there. Maybe like some other they better not. But my boy the Deep could go next episode.
I think he's gonna live.
I
through
think
the whole
he'll
show.
live.
I so hope so. I
He's
really
gonna-
hope you guys are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna agree with you. I think.
Yeah, I think that Ashley, again, at this point, there's nobody to protect her, and it's pretty obvious that Father more aligns with Homelander than his own wife.
Father could also die next.
He could also die, but that whole thing that happened in this episode, though, was good setup, and I appreciated the scene between Daveed Diggs and Aaron Moriarty. Thank you. I was thinking Aaron Doherty. I was like, that's adolescent. Aaron Moriarty. I thought it was a great scene, but now I don't know what happens with that. If that even winds up happening, if that whole church service winds up coming to fruition and that becomes like a propaganda type thing for the general public, it'll be interesting to kind of see. Mikey, you have any death predictions for next week?
I think it's definitely gonna be more than what you guys said, if I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, a bunch of random civilians also.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go as far as saying I think Ashley will die. I think all three of Frenchie, Kamiko, and Mother's Milk Will All Die. I think that we will see. This might be a stretch, but I think we're going to see Sister Sage die in this episode.
I think she'll die in the finale.
You think the finale?
Yeah, I think they're going to hold her till the
Yeah,
finale.
I think the showrunners believe she's more important than she is. So they might save it for the finale. Of,
Yeah.
Look, like we finally killed Sage. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, she's just a chalupa away from being a random person. That's it.
I just, in my head, I just see them still finishing this out with a Butcher versus the boys type of thing. And at that point, most of them will be dead. But but I do think that it's still going to be something, even if it's like Huey and Starlight having to do something. I do think that they're pitting at that. So I think that the next episode, I'm going to go as far as even saying that Homelander will die.
In the penultimate episode.
In the next episode.
Totally
Okay.
possible.
Yeah, it could happen.
Totally possible.
I'm going to say he's going to die.
Okay. Well, let us know in the comment section, who do you guys think could potentially go in next episode? What are your predictions for the next 2 episodes of The Boys and next episode in particular? We will be back next week to talk about. I don't know who our panel is going to be yet, but hopefully most of us can be on here for that episode. The finale, I think all 4 of us stop doing what you're doing. I think that all 4 of us will be on for the finale, so hope you guys are looking forward to that. Comment your thoughts, give this video a like, subscribe to us here at the Culture Media Network. Follow us on social media if you don't already. All that stuff is below me in the video. It's also in our YouTube description. Sean is an asshole.
What?
Just signing off. I'm Darian Scalamoni.
Yeah, I've been the asshole. That's it.
Oh, Michael Pedestin.
Bye, guys.
This is the culture.